Once upon a time, there was a wise teacher named Mrs. Smith. She was a passionate and dedicated teacher who loved her students dearly. One day, she decided to teach her students a valuable life lesson using a jar and some golf balls. Mrs. Smith started by bringing a large jar and a box of golf balls to class. She then asked her students if they thought the jar could hold all of the golf balls. The students agreed that it could. Mrs. Smith then proceeded to fill the jar with the golf balls. Once the jar was full, she asked her students if the jar was full. The students agreed that it was. Mrs. Smith then picked up a box of pebbles and poured them into the jar. The pebbles filled in the empty spaces between the golf balls. Mrs. Smith then asked her students again if the jar was full. The students agreed that it was. Mrs. Smith then picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. The sand filled in all of the remaining empty spaces. Mrs. Smith then asked her students one last time if the jar was full. The students agreed that it was. Mrs. Smith then looked at her students and said, "This jar represents your life. The golf balls are the important things in your life, such as your family, your friends, your health, and your passions. The pebbles are the other important things in your life, such as your job, your home, and your car. The sand is everything else in your life, the small stuff. If you put the sand in the jar first, there will be no room for the pebbles or the golf balls. The same is true in life. If you spend all of your time and energy on the small stuff, you will have no time or energy for the important things in life." Mrs. Smith's students were deeply moved by her lesson. They realized that they needed to focus on the important things in their lives and not waste their time and energy on the small stuff. Motivational message for teachers. Mrs. Smith's lesson is a valuable reminder for all teachers. As teachers, we have a responsibility to help our students develop the skills and knowledge they need to be successful in life. But we also have a responsibility to help our students develop into happy and well-rounded individuals. One of the best ways to do this is to teach our students the importance of focusing on the important things in life. We need to help our students realize that their family, their friends, their health, and their passions are the most important things in the world. We also need to help our students realize that it is okay to say no to things. They don't have to do everything. They need to focus on the things that are most important to them and say no to the things that are not. Teaching our students to focus on the important things in life is one of the most important gifts we can give them. It will help them to live happier and more fulfilling lives.